Good morning. Just to let you know, I've prepared a little booklet for you from next Sunday, April the 5th, through Easter Sunday morning. And it takes the different things that Jesus said on the cross and one each day. It's entitled Jesus, 7 Words from the Cross. You can find it on our website. You can find it on Facebook. It has a little devotional for each day. Some maybe from Kyle Idleman and other authors. There may even be a little bit in there that I've put in there. So anyhow, this is one day a week in preparation for Resurrection Sunday. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. And then as far as things coming up, there's the YouVersion Bible app. It's going to include the sermon notes now and the lyrics for the music. And just check that app for different events that are coming up. Okay? YouVersion Bible app. As far as our devotional, somebody said last week that they enjoyed the fireside chat. Well, I guess the flame's out because I'm not at the fireside anymore. But I did want to visit with you about the hope that the Lord gives us and the comfort and so forth. And we'll be using Psalm 23, the 23rd Psalm this morning. You know, the thing about the 23rd Psalm is it's so often included in funeral messages that it's almost thought of as a funeral psalm. But it's so much more than that. I'm going to be using the King James this morning because that's just the most poetic, the most beautiful, well-written version. And it begins with, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He uses the word Lord. If you look that up in your Bible, you'll notice that all 4 letters in the word Lord are capitalized. That means that he's actually used God's name here, Yahweh. It says Yahweh, the Creator, the I Am, who is I Am, is the one that he's talking about. It's a shepherd. David was a shepherd boy himself, and now what he's done is he's sort of reversed the roles. He's the sheep, God is the shepherd. And he says, because of that, I shall not want. What he means is God's my provider. God provides everything that he needs. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. Yahweh takes care of all of his needs, all of your needs, all of my needs. And when our needs are met, then we can rest. And that's what he means by leads me beside the still waters. And he restores my soul. There's rest in that. Jesus said, come unto me, all ye who are heavy laden, and I will give you what? Rest. He restores my soul, and he leads me beside the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. God rejuvenates us. As we rest, he rejuvenates us. During this time of the coronavirus, we're doing a lot of resting. We're at home a lot more than we normally are. And, you know, we can get some extra rest. And by the way, if you're sleep deprived, this is your chance to catch up, okay? But anyhow, he provides rest for us, and he rejuvenates us, gets us ready to go again. That's what he's getting at here. And he sets us then on the right path, leads us down the correct way to go. The Lord is our provider. But secondly, the Lord also protects you. He says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Talking about the difficulties of life, God comforts him. God comforts you and me in the days that are difficult for us to live in, on those tough days. The Lord protects us. Dr. Barnhouse wife, his first wife, had died, and he was left with his little children. And he was trying to figure out how to explain this to them, these dark days that they were experiencing. And he hit upon this idea. He said to his children, he said, now, would you rather be run over by a truck, or would you rather be run over by the shadow of a truck. Well, obviously, they wanted to be run over by the shadow of the truck. That's what he says here. They'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It looks like things are as bad as they can get, but they aren't. It's just simply the shadow that's overrun. That's the thing with the coronavirus. It seems like, oh, this is just the worst thing that could ever happen. Well, it's not. It's just simply a shadow. And what the shadow does, of course, is it blocks out the light. He says, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. No, he's telling him that he's not alone, that David will not be alone. You and I will not be alone because the Lord is with us. And he says, one of the things that gives me confidence and that encourages me is that his rod and his staff, they comfort me. The shepherd would use the rod and staff. The rod would be a club that he would have, about a couple of feet long, a thick, heavy club, so that he could fight off marauding animals. And then he would have a staff, and the staff would normally have some curve on it, sometimes even hooked, and that was for moving the thicket so that he could reach in and pull the lamb out, or so that from a distance, he could strike a snake. It was used in various ways there. It could even wrap around a sheep that was down in a little gully and pull him up to safety. And he says, because of that, I know I'm not alone, and I don't fear any evil because you're with me. And it's your rod and your staff that they comfort me. And the thing about that thrills me is that when you think about, going into battle, you want to go into battle by yourself, or you do want to go into battle with somebody else beside you? Well, in life, so to speak, a battle, it's best to go through life with the Lord rather than going all alone. And another thing that comes to mind here too is that even though he walks through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Just God's presence removes fear, that takes it away. That's an awesome thought, that just his presence drives away fear. We've been given the spirit of confidence, of love, of a sound mind, not the spirit of fear. And then, thirdly, the Lord prepares for you. He prepares for you what lies ahead. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Well, he prepares us for what lies ahead. That's part maybe of what he wants us to figure out about this coronavirus thing. There's things that lie out in front of us, and he's preparing us for those. God cares for us. His goodness and his mercy are there for us. I read about a lady who went to a famous preacher, and she was concerned about the fact that every time she left her house, there were a couple of men that seemed to follow her. Everywhere she went, these men followed her. And of course, the pastor figured out kind of what was going on here, and he said, now, young lady, here's the deal. In the Bible, it says that surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. God sent goodness and mercy, goodness and love to follow you. And the thing was that comforted her. And the Lord had prepared a way for her. Well, he's prepared for your future, for my future, your future. He has prepared that for us. He said that he would anoint our heads with oil. The word anoint in the Hebrew, I'm told, actually means fat, or to be well fed. The fat sheep were the ones that were considered to be the most healthy. And so the idea here is that the Lord is going to make us healthy, spiritually healthy. He's not talking about providing everything for us and, just making us rich and all of that sort of thing. What he's talking about is making us spiritually healthy and vibrant as we go through life. And then the final thing that he ends with, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You realize, of course, that he's saying there that the Lord has prepared David for eternity. He's prepared you and me for eternity. He's placed eternity in the heart of man. What about you? Are you ready for eternity, to spend eternity with the Lord? He's made you healthy during this time to keep you well spiritually. And now He's ready. Whenever it's time for you to go home, for me to go home, He has a place for us forever. You have a great day and enjoy the sunshine today.